Good morning, descendants of Atlantis. Today I would like to talk to you about the Thunderbird in mythology, which I would also call the Firebird. I believe they are the same thing, and I believe that probably such a large bird actually existed in the past, probably during the time of Atlantis. And if you watch my first video, I explained to you how the ancients who built Gobekli Tepe used the image of a firebird, perhaps also a thunderbird, to denote the solar plasma rays which cyclically strike Earth and to warn us about them. It's laid out in my first video, so I would encourage you to watch that. But here we see from Wikipedia the mythology of the Thunderbird, and it goes way back to the indigenous Indian peoples. If you do a search on the internet, you'll find many articles about sightings of thunderbirds, or firebirds as I would call them, and as I think the Atlanteans called them, going way back hundreds of years. And in fact, you'll even find alleged accounts of them being seen recently. Here's an article from the dailystar.co.uk. Huge bird-like object spotted in sky sparks claims the thunderbird creature has been found. A man has filmed footage of what looks like an impossibly giant bird, bringing into question the existence of the legendary creatures. So if you go to this site, if you just search a Daily Star, a huge bird-like object, it should pop right up. And this is from November 16th of 2018, so very recently. And then you can read about how it's been in legend and lore, and it's been around for a very long time. And this article is from a website called prairieghost.com. You can find many such articles on the internet when you search for thunderbirds. And it says one of the most famous of the early American legends of these giant winged creatures comes from the bluffs outside the small Mississippi River town of Alton, Illinois. Years ago, this rock painting, which you see here, was actually a petroglyph that showed two such creatures. These monsters, like the modern rendering of the paintings, were called the Piasa by the Illinois Indians. The original painting existed near this location for hundreds of years and was first described in the Journals of Marquette in 1673. The original site of the painting is now long gone, but Marquette described the creature portrayed there in this manner. As we were descending the river, we saw high rocks with hideous monsters painted on them, and upon which the bravest Indian dare not look. They are as large as a calf, with head and horns like a goat. Their eyes are red, beard like a tiger's and face like a man's. Their tails are so long that they pass over their bodies and between their legs, under their bodies, ending like a fish tail. They are painted red, green, and black, and so well drawn that I could not believe they were drawn by the Indians. For what purpose they were drawn seems to be a mystery. So these possibly were drawn by earlier peoples to depict this firebird. And Father Hennepin also wrote about the firebird, and you can read it on this article. Now, Brian Forster, in one of his great videos called Inca, Temple of the Condor at Ollantaytambo, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, in the Sacred Valley of Peru, on September 20th, 2010. And here he talks about this image being a condor, and so this area is called the Temple of the Condor. You can see the head here, the body, you can see the wings. Now, I think this is so worn, it's been there for thousands of years, and it was probably originally depicting a firebird that the ancients saw in their skies, and that is depicted on Pillar 43 at Gobekli Tepe as described in my first video. Lastly, before I go, I want to add an addendum to a video I recently did on Quenuani, commenting on Brian Forster's fine video on that subject. And I forgot to mention something that I had thought of in my previous emails. Over on the left side of the structure, you see these mounds here. Now, it's very obvious from looking at Quenuani that it's very, very old. You can see the water as it has run down the middle of the steps here has worn them away. Of course, it is soft rock, but it's still very old. Now, I think that this was originally a face. It almost looks like the face on Mars. and I'm not one to believe in aliens building things either. But it looks like it was a face that was worn away, and then this might also be some structure of some sort that was worn away. So I just wanted to put that out there. Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and forward this video to all your friends. That's my history, and I'm sticking to it.